Doodle along with me and celebrate late summer as we draw flowers like Queen Anne's lace, white clover, and echinacea. Hey friends, welcome. My name is Shayda Campbell, and today we're gonna doodle some little summer flowers, just like a very relaxing little journal piece. So you'll want a journal or a sketchbook. A fine liner, something like a mulatto black liner is good, plus a pencil and eraser. Very simple supplies. I was inspired by some of my late summer flowers in my garden. They always look a little scraggly at this time of year, and I kind of love that. That just says August to me. And then the final thing that you'll need, not that you need flowers, is just a little piece of paper and a glue stick. And what I've done here is taken a piece of art paper in a nice creamy beige, and I've cut out like a very imperfect square and I'm just gluing it in. That step is optional, but it gives you a nice color surface to do your doodles on. Do your doodles. Okay, let's warm up with like a simple little leaf. I start with a line for the stem, and I do a pointed oval leaf on the top, and then I do these pairs of leaves going down the stem, and they all kind of have their own little branch attached, and that just adds a nice detail. And you, of course, can make that as long or as large as you like. I'm making mine kind of small and cute today. I place a line in the center of each leaf, and then to get really nice and detailed, we're going to do a whole bunch of little lines on both sides of that center vein. This is a good all-purpose leaf. It's great for journal doodling and creating borders and separating space within your planner or journal. It's one of my go-tos for sure. Okay, let's try a little cone flower. Working in pencil, I make that sort of exaggerated cone-shaped stamen, and then I place some messy little petals in a semicircle around it, and then I can, make a pair or a couple of them and join them with some stems and leaves. Go over it in pen, and we do that exaggerated cone-shaped stamen, messy little petals in a semicircle. And of course, you can do 2 or 3 of them, a couple leaves and stems, and the doodle is complete. If you like, you can darken the cone at the center and darken those leaves as well, and it just makes the entire little doodle really pop off the page. Next, let's do a little white clover. I start with a circle to kind of give me the shape of the clover. I add a stem and a bunch of tiny leaves right under that fluffy clover, and then some larger leaves lower down the stem. And I kind of want to make everything look a little shaggy. I want to darken these leaves with lots of little tiny lines, and that just is going to help show what is clover and what is leaf, so the blossom stays kind of lighter while the leaves are darker. And you can add as much shading as you like. I like to go in and add lots of tiny little lines and really make it look fluffy. All right, starting again in pencil, let's try another one, Queen Anne's lace, a nice late summer flower. And for that blossom, I always do a semicircle as my guide, and we might do a smaller one, a little bud off to the side, and a leaf to the other side. So we've got our semicircle, we're going over our curving stems in pen, and then the bottom of the flower and the bud get this sort of semicircle of little tiny lines. And then for the flower, which is very delicate and almost lacy, lacy, Queen Anne's lace, we're just doing this cluster of tiny little squiggles and dots and maybe some tiny little flowers mixed in there. Put lots of dots, and that's going to give that ethereal, lacy look. And then the leaf is kind of like a fern where you're drawing these pairs of little squiggly leaves, and they get smaller as you work your way towards the top and that final pointed leaf. Remember, these are just doodles. Perfectly imperfect is the key, and simple. And speaking of simple, for this next one, I just want to make up a flower or a plant. So I'm doing a whole lot of branches with these long, thin, oval-shaped leaves, and then kind of just going to put like 1 or 2 tiny little flowers at the top here. This is my favorite way to doodle. To just make stuff up as I go along and just draw whatever I feel like. It's fun to draw and doodle from nature, but it's also really enjoyable for me to kind of relax into the process of drawing and doodling and do whatever I feel like, just make up a flower or a plant. So this one I wanted to do these long, smooth leaves and lots of them and lots of little branches all intertwined with a tiny little flower at the top. And I am looking at that, and I might add a little bit of line shading on those leaves to darken them, add that bit of contrast that I like. And I might finish it with a little berry or two, just to add a little element of detail, something a little smaller. And that's it, all done. And that doodle was all about the leaves and berries. Let's try one that's all about the flower. I'm going to grab my pencil again. I like to start in pencil. It gives me the confidence. And for this one, I do a guide, a circle to show how large the flower is, with a circle in the center to mark my stamen. And then I go around and I place the petals. So I can do 4 or 5 petals. Here I've done 6 with one little one kind of sitting on top. And when you do that in pencil first, it makes it really approachable. And I kind of wiggle the pen a little as I go around and do my contour drawing. That helps me get these very organic looking petal shapes. And then I'm adding a whole lot of line shading. I'll finish up by adding a few dots and scribbles to darken that stamen at the center. Next, let's try this black-eyed Susan, this yellow flower that I pulled out of my tiny garden. I am sketching out a messy sort of daisy-like flower that has a round little stamen and 5 or 6 petals. I can cluster them and add squiggly leaves and branches and maybe a bud or two. And then I'll start going over everything in pen, making sure that my lines are a little crooked and everything looks very organic and perfectly imperfect. And friends, just a reminder that I release an extra video every month over on my Patreon site. This month we're doing watercolor peonies in real time with nothing sped up or removed. If you want to support the channel and get access to extra content, it's only $2 a month or $22 for the year. So check it out after today's video. I'm going to complete my doodles with some lavender. It's fun to draw because you just start with a stem or maybe a cluster of stems, and you do these little clustered ovals, almost like heart shapes, all the way down those stems, leaving little breaks in between. I'll go over it in pen so you can really see. It's a long, thin line with these clustered oval shapes or heart shapes, and you can add leaves, and you can draw as many little lavender sprigs together as you like. I usually do 2 or 3. Darken that leaf a little bit. Maybe add some lines on those petals. And that's it. It's an easy one. I'm going to erase all of my pencil marks and clean this up, and you can really see what we've done. I'm left with a little space over on the right here, and for better or worse, I'm always thinking about the overall composition of a piece, even when I'm doodling, so I want to fill that in and make everything balanced. And so I just put a little berry there, and berries are a great space filler because you can, do a large cluster or a small cluster. It could be just 3 berries, or it could be a whole bunch. And you can add tiny little leaves, and they're really cute. So yeah, that's it for my late summer flower doodles. There's a few little things here, a few tricks that I think make this piece really stunning. Putting it on a simple piece of art paper that you've glued into your journal just creates a nice backdrop. And do everything in pencil first, make sure you like it, and then go over it with your fine liner. Put a title at the bottom, and you've got a really lovely little piece of artwork that you can enjoy in your journal or sketchbook. So if you're bored and you don't know what to draw, try this one. And make sure to hit that subscribe button. I'm so close to getting to 1 million. Help a girl out, and I'll see you soon with a new tutorial. Thanks for watching.